Have you ever looked at a castle from the Middle Ages and wondered how it was built? So did some dudes in France, so they decided to find out the hard way. Welcome to the Goodish news channel. I'm Ashley, your professional pessimist. The news this last week has been less than stellar, which is exactly why I won't be talking about any of it, because I only bring you news stories that won't make you wish you lived on a different planet, or solar system, or galaxy. You get the idea. Guédelon Castle is a unique project, that's an understatement, in Burgundy, France, where artisans are building an entire medieval castle from the ground up. That may not sound exciting, but they're only using 13th century tools, materials, and techniques, which also doesn't sound exciting to me, because I prefer 21st century technology, but the project does sound interesting nonetheless. Guédelon is an oversized experiment that serves as a tourist attraction, but also a laboratory for archaeologists and historians. In 1995, archaeologists studying a nearby chateau uncovered a medieval foundation, sparking the idea to construct a castle from scratch to directly test historical theories. Instead of just copying an existing site, a team of archaeologists decided to create an original castle inspired by regional fortresses. They also imagined a plausible backstory for its fictitious 13th century lord. I realize that makes it sound like some rich guy's own version of D&D, but who am I to judge how people spend their money? The project's guiding rule is if a technique, tool, or material wasn't used in 1228, it's not allowed to Guédelon. That means no materials can be imported and no technology from before the 13th century can be used. Every step is a test of medieval methods, from quarrying stone to weaving baskets. It even includes making their own paint by grinding up minerals to achieve different pigments. The site for the castle was chosen for its sandstone, a forest full of oak trees, available clay, and a local water source. Because when you're building something by hand and not importing any materials, you've got to make sure abundant resources are nearby, just like what builders during the 13th century would have done. Because no one wants to haul tons of stone for miles and miles. Trust me. Not that I have personal experience, it just seems logical. The castle is surrounded by 370 acres of forest, with all resources sourced within sight. Teams of masons, carpenters, blacksmiths, basket weavers, and painters live the rhythms of medieval labor, often dressed in period clothes, just to give that extra bit of authenticity. Stone is cut by hand, mortar mixed with local lime and sand, and wooden elements are shaped with hand tools accurate to the time period. Even nails are forged on site. In the 13th century, due to its very expensive nature, glass was reserved for royalty and churches. So that means most castles didn't have windows with glass. But researchers also didn't know what was used instead. And there also weren't a lot of clues in historical records. Along with the lack of records, archaeologists haven't found any remnants of what was used either. Researchers and artisans experimented with goat skin and other natural materials, but nothing really seemed to hold up. After a lot of trial and error, researchers eventually settled on waxed linen panels. And these were painted with medieval patterns and fixed into hand-carved wooden frames. And speaking of paint, as I mentioned, all pigments for decorating the linen panels, walls, and beams are made from minerals and plant matter found on site, staying true to the colors of medieval Europe. Timber trusses, vaulted ceilings, and a working water mill are all built by trial and error, just as in the Middle Ages. When there's no historical text or evidence to guide them, the team experiments with different materials and techniques, and hopefully find a solution to whatever problem they're trying to solve. One of my favorite methods, I say that like I'm working on this thing, I'm obviously just an armchair commentator, is something called a squirrel cage. Heavy blocks and mortar are hoisted up with a crane powered by human labor walking inside giant wooden wheels. The least they could do is get these guys those hamster water bottle things while they're working on this.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
While the thought of that is entertaining, Keep in mind, the purpose behind the project is to help researchers understand aspects of medieval construction lost to time. Real-world trials have overturned assumptions about building methods and materials needed to create these medieval monuments. And this knowledge has helped solve problems in other projects, most notably the Notre Dame Cathedral. When the church was being rebuilt, Guédelon's project director and 6 carpenters assisted in the reconstruction because they had quite a bit of experience with truss work. The team knew that the best way to rebuild the massive cathedral roof would be to use young green oak trees as opposed to the dried centuries-old oak trees that most people would have selected. Guédelon employs about 40 full-time craftspeople. This includes blacksmiths, stonemasons, weavers, painters, and many more. And if you think this sounds like something you'd like to see with your own eyes, you're in luck, because the castle is open to visitors. In fact, over 300,000 people visit each year. Ticket sales, a restaurant, and a gift shop make the entire operation self-sustaining, with income funding further research and construction. The project is definitely a tortoise and the hare kind of situation. Its slow collaborative approach means it may never truly be finished. And if it ever is, there are still plans to expand the area into a medieval village, complete with a church. All built by hand, obviously, because these people are gluttons for punishment. And more power to them. If you're looking for more good news in your life, be sure to check out this video right here. And if you liked this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing so we can ignore all the bad news together.